Okay, hi Brad. We're live now. Hi everybody, this is Rebecca Kosis, General Manager of CHIA California, and I'm here with Brad Dacus of Pacific Justice Institute, and we're here to talk about some concerning things that we are hearing coming out of public school classrooms today. Brad, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And you've got some exciting things happening too, as I shouldn't say as a result, but in a response to that. But why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Oh, certainly. We at Pacific Justice Institute, along with others like CHIA and others, put together a film, and it's a documentary, and it's entitled Sexxx-ED, Sexxx-ED. Parents, parents have a right, to speak up. So anyway, it's a really good, very strong, very compelling film that captivates all the garbage that our children are being taught in government public schools. As you know, Rebecca, it's very explicit. It's MA, mature audiences only, not because we put in bad stuff. We just simply put in there what the kids are seeing all the way down to the kindergarten level. Mm-hmm. So it's very compelling, but it doesn't just talk about the bad stuff and how outrageous it is. We actually talk specifically about how parents can choose different alternatives away from that to protect their kids. So it's very constructive as well as enlightening.
Mm-hmm. And, I appreciate that it's constructive. It is, the situation right now has gone beyond teaching children about biology. And that was something that used to be reserved for high school even. And it's gone way beyond even the birds and the bees, or the talk, as parents very often refer to it. And as you said, it's extremely explicit to the point of when we watched it as adults, my husband was shocked and I was speechless. There were things in there that even as married couples, we don't talk about these things. It's it's just unacceptable. So yes, it's very, very concerning. I even understand that even though it's that the Sexxx-ED mandates that we have that currently in California are not mandated for kindergarten, that many of these topics are still being taught in kindergarten. Is that, and I hear that from other people. Is that true? Have you seen that to be actually happening?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is happening, even at the kindergarten level. In fact, just today, I found out was informed about a family where they had their child in kindergarten for 6 days, and they were already talking about sexual orientation, identity issues, and it was just 6 days. In the first 6 days, the father has pulled that child out of kindergarten, mm-hmm. and now realizes kindergarten is too dangerous for my child.
And this,
think about it. Kindergarten is too dangerous for my child.
Yeah.
That's how raunchy government education has become. And once people watch the film and they see the epilogue afterwards talking about the alternatives, I think it's very compelling for them to pull their kids out of government schools.
Mm-hmm. I certainly hope so. I say I certainly hope so. I agree. It's very compelling, and I certainly hope that it does result in action. The disturbing thing to me right now, Brad, is that that little kindergarten child had to have been at home being taught, correct? I don't know of any kindergartners in California that are actually being taught in classrooms. Everyone is, at least most everyone is distance learning. I haven't heard about any schools going back to on-site learning. So parents should be paying attention to what their children are being taught in their distance learning right now, correct?
Yes, definitely. And I'm not sure whether it was via Zoom or if it was actually in the classroom or not. I know some parts of California that they're not on the watch list, and they have that that freedom to be able to do that. Some are also, because they're not among the counties that are flagged. So my understanding just in the discussion was that was what they were dealing with, but it could just as easily be though via Zoom. I can see teachers doing that. I've also heard of teachers complaining that they're concerned that parents may see what they're teaching the children. There's actually a teacher publicly complaining about this because she didn't want the parents to necessarily be able to see all that she was teaching the children.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the attitude. That was what was explicitly written out in the public complaint. So I think that parents need to understand, whether it's via Zoom or not, or in the classroom, this is very dangerous. And I will tell you, I think every parent should watch this. If you're a homeschool parent, I think you should watch this to understand why it is important for you to continue doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the same thing for those who head up private schools that have any kind of a faith-based respect for parental parents and families. They should watch it, partly just to be on guard as to what they sign off on or don't sign off on. And then, of course, parents who have kids in government schools, public schools, obviously they should watch it. They need to be aware because that's their God-given responsibility to be a parent of their child, to look after a child, to guide the education and the upbringing of their children and the way they should go. That's a parent's job. That's their responsibility. And when they see this film and it's all documented, there's no hype, there's nothing put in that's not really a part of the curriculum or not really part of the program. It's very solid research, documented. When they see that, I think it's going to be very compelling. So I hope the homeschoolers, when they see it or they hear about this, don't say, well, it's good we're homeschooling, maybe we'll watch it. I want them to watch it also so they can then forward it on to families that have their kids in government schools. They don't have to say, you need to put your kids in, you need to homeschool, whatever. Just say, hey, this is a shocking video of the new Sexxx-ED in the government schools or in public schools. Take a look at it, watch it, let me know what you have to think. I found it very shocking, so-and-so. So
Right.
we need to reach out to save not just our kids, we need to reach out to save other kids from the spiritual genocide that is about to and is now taking place.
And that's my concern too, is that people may be asking, but why are you here on Chia's Facebook page? And this will be also over on our YouTube channel. Aren't you preaching to the choir? Because everybody here is homeschooling. Parents have taken responsibility for their children's education. But as you said, it's not just about our kids. It needs to be about our community. How many of us have loved ones who are in government schools? We have, nieces and nephews, grandchildren, and this will affect them. We should care. We should be concerned. And another thing to be concerned about is this affects the future of our society. This isn't just some bad thing that's happening right now without any long-term consequences. And you talk about that a little bit. I don't know if you want to expound on the spiritual genocide involved here.
Yeah, well, I mean, if our society goes down the wrong path, we could have people elected into office that will shut down our churches. Oh, wait a minute, that's already happening. So, I mean, just understanding where we are and understanding how much worse it can get just by us not caring enough to reach out to these other kids, to slow it down, to mitigate it. Secularists, like from Harvard and other places, have been writing articles, actually alarmed and concerned that there's going to be a huge shift of parents leaving government schools and going into alternative schooling, like homeschooling. They're actually very worried about this because the shutdown in the government schools have resulted in so many kids being taught at home. Recent polls showed 43% of parents in the United States are planning on or are teaching their kids at home in some capacity, maybe a part of the government school program or whatever program, but they're not in school. Mm-hmm. So we already have them taking the first major step, 43%. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. All that needs is necessary now is to show them that there's a better way, a better program other than the government school, public school program. That is unbelievable in terms of opportunity for a major game changer in the direction of this nation.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so hopefully we have enough, the love of Christ, enough in us to take this tool, this motivating tool, to help push them over to the next step, to say, you know what, we need to say goodbye to government education completely and look and go into something else that's not going to be so harmful and dangerous for my children. When people see this film, I think they'll feel convicted in that regard. And of course, the other great opportunity they have, Rebecca, as you and I both know, and that is to work with their church,
Right.
their pastor, to start homeschool groups. Talk about that, if you would. So, because I see this as an incredible opportunity of outreach and for church growth that we cannot pass up.
Right, absolutely. We do hope that you'll share this streaming event with your church leaders and pastors, because for many people, that all it's going to take is to have their pastor say something from the pulpit, like, this is wrong. Do you know what your children are being taught? And then helping to provide a better way. And that's what we're hoping, that churches will start up homeschool groups. And Chia is here to help pastors and church leaders start up homeschool groups. Nobody has to do it on their own. Many church homeschool groups, church-sponsored homeschool groups, actually, most of them that I'm aware of, use it as an opportunity to reach out in their community. It's not just for their flock only. Sometimes they are for a short period of time, but most of the homeschool groups are open to the homeschool community. So it's an opportunity for your church to reach out and be of service to the community where you reside. It's also an opportunity to grow your flock, because we all know that as you're ministering to the community, people are more inclined to want to start attending your church and seeing what else you have to offer. So, these are the kinds of things that we see happening. Brad, we've said earlier, would that, 95% of churches have a homeschool group and provide that structure and that security and that liberty for families, and just what a change that would make in our society, in our children's lives, and in the upcoming next generation. I mean, we've seen the fruit of homeschooling. We've seen that their children that are homeschooled are socially very well adapted. They're sought after in colleges. They score better in their standardized tests. They are more civic minded. And parents also, they're more inclined to be maintaining the faith of their family if they're taught at home, rather than hearing 5 days a week, 6 or 7 hours a day, that your parents are wrong and that the Bible is wrong and your pastor knows nothing. Here you're going to be partnering. You have their education, the family, and the church, all with teaching the children from the same worldview. It just makes for a strong faith.
Right. I think we could see a exponential increase in homeschooling if we care enough to reach out through like these church homeschool groups. Specifically, I think it's because a major reason a lot of parents don't homeschool is because, like, say they're a single parent family. Unfortunately, it's all too common. And they say, the mom says, hey, I have to work. I can't homeschool in their mind. Or even if you have a 2-parent family, they say, we both have to work. The cost of living where we are is just too high. To maintain our standard of living, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that can now be broken down, those barriers, by church homeschool groups, because then you have parents working together. So if Billy's mom and dad both work, Billy can then be at the church homeschool group for how many days that the church may have those homeschool groups meeting, whatever. And then those days that they don't, Billy can go over to Johnny's house where Johnny's mom homeschools. Working together, we can reach out, which is really what God wants us to do, not just to be comfortable among ourselves, but to reach out to these kids. And we could see a huge increase in those who are homeschooling, and a major shift in the future mindset and influence that people with a biblical or Christian worldview have on our society. It's a major game changer if we take advantage of it, if we care enough to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And, the homeschool community has been doing things like this for years. We've had, so many parents, single parent families homeschool, or working parents homeschool. And part of the barrier there, I think, is the mindset thinking that school has to take place from, say 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. And it has to take place in a particular place, in a particular location. And that's simply not the case. Homeschool parents have been trading off, helping one another with their children for decades. Those who have strengths and skills in one particular top subject have reached out to help other families with those.
Yeah.
Likewise, we've had, we've had parents help with youngers. Well, I'll watch your youngers if you can help my olders with English. I mean, there's just, these things have been going on for years. And single parents, as I said, erasing the preconceived notions of where and when school has to take place, but also drawing on, with the support of family and with the support of friends and with the support of the homeschool community that you're involved in, it absolutely can be done. It's not, and it can be done well.
Right.
Not just survive, but your children can thrive. But you have to erase those preconceived notions of what school looks like.
Right.
And when you do that, and really you let God take control and put the pieces into place, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised at it's just different than you think. We think school has to, we think we're trying to recreate the classroom in the home, and we're not, because really homeschooling is a matter of a lifestyle, and all life is learning.
Yeah, and there's also some great, wonderful homeschool online programs that are faith-based, solid programs. So even if you can't find enough parents who know enough about different subjects, you still have that as an option, and parents can work together, or kids can have different things that they're using. Someone using an online program, otherwise they can still work together. It's out there, and they're absolutely fantastic. Faith-based, solid online homeschool programs that you can use as a part of your church homeschool group or individually as well. So we've got it. We've got the resources, we've got the opportunity, and we now have the compelling reason to move on it because of what's in that Sexxx-ED film video. I want to let people know also that the Sexxx-ED film video we're talking about, it's airing right now. It was airing at 2 o'clock, and it's also going to be airing at 4 o'clock today, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. today. And so if people want to watch this, I strongly encourage it. Just go to our website, pji.org. It's P for Pacific, J for Justice, I for Institute, .org, pji.org. And there they register. So you fill out the information, you register, it doesn't cost anything.
Right.
We register, then we'll send you the link and you can watch it. I think it's about 45 minutes long. The film is 30 minutes of the epilogue afterward, which is so important when we talk about the options. That's about 15 minutes. So it's 45 minutes total, and it starts on time. I encourage people definitely not only to watch it and then to promote it, and so we can get that out there to as many people as possible.
Absolutely. And we'll put the link to that in the comment below, Brad, so that they can
Thank
just
you.
paste it and go ahead and register for that. And yeah, and again, if you are interested, if you watch this film, it's been shared with you by a friend or a family member, and you want to start homeschooling, please do connect with us here at CHIA. If you're a church leader and want to start a homeschool group, we will walk with you each step of the way. So reach out to us as well. And I'll put our contact info in the comments below. So with that, Brad, I know you have a very busy day. Today is the streaming event, so I don't want to keep you away from that for too long, but I so appreciate you coming and joining us and talking about this very important topic. Thank you. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work, Rebecca. I really appreciate all that CHIA is doing to have an impact in the state of California. Oh, well, thank you, Brett. Thanks for that encouragement. And we pray for you regularly as well. Thanks. Thank you. All right. So we will see you again on Monday for our next tips at 3. We'll be visiting again with one of our regional advisory board members from the northern central part of our state. And we'll be talking about how we help homeschoolers up there. So again, thank you, Brad. And we will be talking to you very soon.
Thank you, Rebecca. God bless.
God
Thanks.
bless.